Hey guys, we are back again for obviously more Star Wars reviews because we've got tons of toys to talk about right now. So today we're going to take a look at the one vehicle that I got in the Solo 3 3/4 inch line so far anyway. We've got the Enfys or Enfys, not sure how you pronounce the name yet, Enfys Nest figure with the SWOOP bike, and this comes in the standard kind of box that we expect to see for this size vehicle. We saw this with Last Jedi, but it's got the Solo branded logo at the top there with the yellow lettering this time around. We've got the figure in the window. We got some really nice artwork on the front. We've of course got that Force Link advertisement on the box, and then the back has just got some product shots, and it talks about the Force Link gimmick and all that stuff, which we won't be talking about. But I'm really excited about this one. I'm very interested in this character, in this figure, because it does look like probably the best looking 3 3/4 inch figure so far in the line. So let's pull them out and take a look. All right guys, so here is the figure and our vehicle out of the box. And just a quick warning, this is maybe a spoiler alert, so skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't want to hear this. But this is a woman, Enfys or Enfys Nest, I don't know still how to pronounce it, is a woman. This is a female character. It's been revealed in other sources that this is a woman. So I'm going to refer to the figure as her, as she, you know, just so you know why. But I am very excited to get a hold of this figure. There is a Black Series that has been leaked, revealed as coming, so I'm definitely excited about that. And there's some kind of backstory to this particular character, or at least a very deep cut reference that I am very happy with. So this character is supposed to be the leader of a Cloud Rider gang. It's a SWOOP gang. So the SWOOP bike is something that we've heard in and out of Star Wars for years, but the Cloud Riders are a reference to a SWOOP gang from the old original Marvel comics, which is really cool just to me personally. It's also a very obscure reference. If you don't really know your Star Wars, you have no idea what that means. It's also not a spoiler, so don't worry about that. I'm going to talk about the figure first, and then we'll talk about the bike. So I'm going to move this guy out of the way. So we've got our figure here, 3 3/4 inch figure, 5 POA, although she does have more than 5 POA. We'll talk about the overall look, but I can tell you right off the bat, I absolutely love this figure. This is the one figure that I was truly looking forward to outside of all, just because I think the design is really cool. It's slightly different. It's that kind of, you know, new direction they've taken Star Wars, giving us different looks and feel of different aliens or armor pieces or anything like that. And I think this really fits well with the kind of Western theme that they're going with for the Solo movie. Now, as far as the overall figure itself, like I said, it's a 3 3/4 inch figure, so you know how tall it is. The head is on a ball joint, so it rotates. It has a little up and down, but not a whole lot. The arms can move forwards and backwards, and this little fur piece will get in the way a little bit, but it's not as impeding as it might look. And then she has forearm or slight wrist rotation, and that's for the bike. So, and then beyond that, we've got a kick on the legs. So it's basically a 5 POA with wrist rotation, but I guess it's more closer to the elbow than the actual wrist. The figure itself, I think, is pretty stunning for this particular line. There is a lot of detail, especially on that helmet. I mean, look at all that stuff just jutting out the back. Who knows what all that is? There's a ton of Arabesh stamped on the top of the helmet, and I believe someone has said it's either upside down or it's backwards, because I know at one point there was a lot of trouble with people examining the trailer to figure out what this all says. I'm not sure what came of that though. There is a lot of paint on this lady here. We've got the reds, we've got blacks, we've got that cream color, and then of course all of the detail work on that mask that really jumps out. There's just a lot going on with this figure. And one thing I wasn't aware until I got her out of the box, she's a soft goods cape, and it actually flows and hangs really well. It's attached to the shoulder pieces with this kind of fur collar that she's got going on, which I think is convincingly fur. And I'm assuming this is more fur, or maybe it's her hair. I can't really tell because it looks exactly like the collar. So we will undoubtedly find out. I believe that, you know, this looks sort of like a bone necklace or chest piece that she has with her little instrument panel down here. And then we've got these kind of rubbery flaps that hang down from her waist. So there's just a lot going on here. We've got the gauntlets, we've got the belt, we've got the rubbery flaps, we've got the cool helmet, we've got the cape, we've got the collar, the chest piece, everything. Now, as far as accessories goes, we've got the one weapon. It's her melee weapon. It's just a staff cast in a slightly metallic silver, and then It's got a little bit of sculpted detail. It's got kind of a handle on it. And then I'm not really sure what this is supposed to be. It sort of looks like it's a bladed weapon, as there is a slight bit of paint on the edge here, just ever so slightly. Might not even be able to pick it up in the lighting here, but it looks like it's supposed to be a blade. So I'm assuming this is some sort of staff, maybe like a halberd type weapon, which I think fits the overall look of the character pretty fine. And then here is the SWOOP bike, and I was relatively interested in this aspect of the pack that we've got here. The figure was really my main concern, but I think this is a pretty decent looking vehicle. It's definitely unique. It's got a lot of interesting paint apps on it, the red and the various designs on the fins on the front and on the back, as well as these stripes. But it's, for the most part, it's a pretty basic vehicle. It doesn't really weigh anything. I mean, it's about as light as possible. I think it's only slightly heavier than the figure itself. There's no moving parts on it that I can find, but it is relatively long. It's, you know, it's about 10 inches long, I believe. And overall, I think it looks nice. I don't know that I'm going to actually display this. I don't really display a lot of Star Wars 3 3/4 inch vehicles, or much of 3 3/4 anything, really. But it is an interesting design. I think it very much fits the look of the figure itself. And most of it is cast plastic with a little paint application here and there. My only real gripe with this entire vehicle, and it's not even a problem with the vehicle itself, is that I wish it didn't have to sit on the ground. There's no stand or anything like that, but then again, I didn't expect there to be either. I knew going into this that we weren't going to get something like that, but it would be nice to have that option, just to give it some sort of you know, a little more life, a little more oomph to it, to make it not just sit, you know, right now it's just sitting on my table, and it's kind of boring when it has to sit on the floor or on your shelf without being slightly elevated to give it a little bit more character. And then as far as how the figure itself actually looks on the bike, I think overall it's pretty good. It's a little bit difficult to get her feet to touch those pedals, as you can see right here. There's a bit of a gap, but her articulation works well enough to get her in the seat, turn those wrists, grab the handlebars, and she looks good enough on the bike that I'm pretty well sold on the overall package here. The only thing I'm not too sure about overall is if this is really meant to be storage for her weapon or not. There's a little nub that sticks out on this side of the bike, and it fits the grip of her staff perfectly. So whether that's it or not, I don't know. Nothing in the book told me one way or the other, but that's what I'm going to use it for. So overall, I am relatively happy with this purchase. I think the figure itself is really, really solid, and ultimately that was my focus here. I don't really care too much about the bike, but at the same time, you can't not have this character and not get her bike as well, because it seems to be an integral part of the character, and the bike is pretty good on its own. It's just, you get what you pay for. It's a lower price point vehicle, so it doesn't really have a lot going for it. No moving parts, no stand or anything like that. But overall, the package is nice, and I think it's a pretty solid entry in this solo line for sure, and I'm very, very much more interested in this character now, having seen all she has to offer in figure form, and I'm desperately looking forward to the Black Series release. So that's going to do it for this look at the Solo A Star Wars Story 3 3/4 inch Enfys Nest figure and SWOOP bike from Hasbro. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next time.